Hello and welcome to the YouTube channel of mprugs.com. Hope you and your family are doing well. My name is Mike. I'm the moderator in the series of videos that is all about handmade carpets from around the world. Welcome you to our channel. In today's episode, this is actually part 2 of talking about the differences between the natural dyes and the dyes that are used in carpets, in handmade carpets, pretty much throughout the world for the last 50-60 years now. In the previous video, I showcased 3 Nain rugs, and I showed you the difference in the one that was vegetable dye, the one was basically made with all natural dyes, and I showed you the good and the bad. Basically, advantages and disadvantages of the natural dyes versus the other 2 pieces, the beautiful green piece and the gombat piece, and I explained to you how they were made with the modern dyes and how there are distinct advantages to that. So please feel free to watch that video if you're into the Nain rugs. Well, in this video, I want to give you a second set of examples. Here we have 3 Tabriz rugs. Of the 3 rugs, one of them is made the old-fashioned way, with the vegetable dyes, with the old wool. This is actually extremely rare to find nowadays. But these are all new rugs, but only one of them is made the old school way, and that is the centerpiece. This is also a piece that, and this is also the reason why I chose this piece is because it's a perfect way for me to show you why, for example, a lot of people are drawn to the old school ways of weaving rugs, but there's also a lot of people who like the new pieces. And I got 2 pieces right here. I have a gombat piece, beautiful piece right here, silk foundation, but these are all high-end Tabriz rugs. I chose the gombat piece, and I chose one of my also favorites. This is the Pazirik design. It's based on the oldest known handmade carpet in the world. The original piece, which is, I believe, in Siberia in a museum, it dates back to about 2,500 years. It was discovered in the region known as Pazirik. And so this is why this design is named after that. But the thing is this design, the colors, the workmanship, everything you see here could not have been made 100 years ago. The same with the gombat. So in this video, I'm going to use the 3 rugs right here, just like I did with the previous video where I featured the Nain rugs. And I'm going to get behind the cameras a little bit and show you some of the features. But basically, this piece right here, this larger piece right here, this is from a workshop that actually they used to make rugs until recently. This is a perfect example of unfortunately, of the decline of the Persian rug industry as a whole. Here you have a workshop that had been around, from what I gather, for generations. My family has been doing business with them for many, many years. It's the Rahimi family in Tabriz. And in addition to, they had this unique thing about doing things the old-fashioned way. I always tell people, when you buy these types of rugs, as you can see here, we have the signature. But I always tell people, when you buy these rugs, for example, Rahimi is a very, not common, but it's a popular name in Iran. The name itself does not stand out. This is a workshop that has been making rugs for many years, and they specialized in weaving the rugs the way that they were made for decades. This is old school rug weaving. They were one of the few still contemporary rug weavers that would make the rugs with all natural dyes. And this is truly unique nowadays. Here you have a rug. This is a new rug. 100% all natural dyes and 100% of the genuine cork wool. And you can, when you feel the wool, and this is unfortunately something that you're obviously not able to do well, watching the video, but if you go in the stores and you feel the old wool, the way it feels softer. It feels softer, at the same time it feels denser. This is what the old cork wool is all about. And they typically do not feature any silk at all. If you look at older Tabriz, and we're talking about 80 or 90 years old, and you see the ones that have maintained their workmanship and their quality, in the old days, a lot of the workshops, they believe that when you add silk highlights to wool rugs, you're actually breaking down the quality, the workmanship, so to speak. So there was always that little thing. It later on went away. This is why, for example, on the Gombat piece or on the Pazirik, you can see these beautiful silk highlights. In the old days, they didn't believe in them. They just didn't want to make them. And so you have, in the old school ways, you had these beautiful earthly colors, and you had the quality of the wool. So they let basically the quality do the talking for them. This is also why, as I mentioned earlier in the previous video, I like the contemporary rugs. The contemporary dyes, in the rugs, because it allows the last 30, 40 years, in my opinion, I actually like the more modern rugs. I like the silk highlights, I like the designs, and also by going away from the plant-based dyes and adding some of the commercial dyes and combinations, you have color combinations that were virtually impossible. And again, this is why I picked the Gombat and the Pazirik piece, because you have, for example, the orange, you have the gold colors, and you can also see it, especially when I get behind the camera and I actually show you the close-ups and everything. You can see how the Gombat piece and the Pazirik, how they shine back at you, versus this Tabriz with the Harris design is very classic. It's very subdued. It's much more in the background. You will also, just I'll let you know, for those of you that are passionate about the Persian rugs, especially for those of you who know about the Harris design that is featured in this piece right here, you may have noticed the green corners. The green corners, that's a telltale sign that a Tabriz rug is made with vegetable dyes. Extremely rare, but it doesn't mean that it is. But in virtually every case where we're able to get this design from workshops like the Rahimi, and there's only been like one or two other ones in Tabriz, but here's what I can tell you. All the ones that had the vegetable dyes, they always had this design with the greenish corner. That was almost like a little secret hidden trademark of theirs. But again, I thought I'd just point this out. So here you have three classic designs. You have the Pazirik, that's very unique of its own. You have a variation of the Gombat, and then here you have this beautiful Harris design Tabriz rug, like I said. It's made by the Rahimi family, and this is just it's a sad commentary to where we're going with the Persian rugs. 20 years ago, we used to be regular buyers from their workshop. They used to have dozens of weavers. Well, like over 90% of the high-end workshops in Iran, they have closed their doors. They're gone. They don't make rugs anymore. And so this is one. I think we have this piece left, and then we have a slightly smaller one. Then we also have a large piece, an oversized piece that is made by a weaver that was trained by them. So Alabov, there was actually a business correlation, but they are two separate families, but they used to work together and then they went their separate ways. And honestly, I don't know if the other one is still making rugs or not. But the Rahimis always had the greenish corners. Alabov, they have the red ones. They have the blue ones. Actually, here we have a picture of the oversized piece. And so, yeah, those are pretty much the only ones that are left. And that was also classic with the Tabriz, with the all-natural dyes. They would make the classic designs. And the Harris rugs, and the Harris design represent some of the most classic types of rugs from the northwestern region, from the Azerbaijan area. This is where the Tabriz rugs are also made. And so you will oftentimes see this. So thought I pointed out to you. So this is basically part two. I showed you the part one with the Nain rugs. I figured I'm going to show you the difference and feature a new Tabriz rug with the old school ways of doing it. And so I'm going to get behind the camera here in just a minute. Just want to let you know, as I always do, we come up with about a couple of videos a month or so. So if you enjoy the rugs, if you enjoy, if you're like so many of our subscribers into the handmade rugs and everything, please feel free to subscribe. Also, if you have questions about a rug that you may have, I get questions from viewers as well as to clients to our website at mprugs.com almost on a daily basis. So if you have questions about a rug that you may have, there's a link below. There's a link to a video where I show you what type of pictures I need and the size and all that. Send me the pictures. I'll be more than happy to take a look at them and I'll give you my thoughts if it's of any help to you. So I'm now going to go behind the camera as I always do. Come back later and say my goodbyes. So I'm going to see you again here in just a second. So here I am again, this time from behind the camera. And as I mentioned to you, I'm going to start with this large piece right here. And you can see it right here. And I do have to apologize. Being in the warehouse here, I do my best with the lighting. But I hope it's going to come out okay. But I always like to leave these videos pretty much as unedited as I can. And so, but one of the things that I wanted to point out, as you can see here, when and I'm going back and forth between the classic piece. This is, you have all of the vegetable dyes, and then you have the Gombat piece as well as the Pazirik that have the commercial dyes, the newer ways of weaving the rugs, and you can see that there is a difference. Their choice in colors is simply in the vegetable dyes. You don't have the choice in colors, and you will also notice the vegetable dyes don't give you the consistency that you oftentimes get with the more modern dyes. You can see how the colors, for example, you have the navy blue here, or you have the beige in the borders, how it's consistently staying the same. And then you notice, for example, notice the greens, and you can see how even in the new pieces, how it's not as consistent. And I'm just going to move the camera around so from both angles so you can see it. How it is nowhere near as consistent as, for example, the light, even whether it's the light blues or whether it's the navy, there is a big difference between the two. Some folks like this. Some folks prefer this. The key thing is, I always tell people, I like the old school. There's a lot of respect here, obviously, and but having said that, I'm personally, with people, whenever the subject comes up, I always tell people I like the newer dyes, the newer ways of doing rugs, because it allows for variations that you didn't have before. Here's a gombat piece. You would not have had this 60, 70 years ago. The way that they're made with the dyes and everything, and the quality is still there. These are the types of rugs that people buy, and basically someday they pass them on to their kids. This is not something that you just buy and throw away. And here we have the Pazirik, and the same thing. And you can see how the colors, you can just tell the difference between a rug that is basically looking back and smiling at you, and a rug that's much more quieter, much more elegant. But you also see the variations. And this is what I wanted to show you with this episode. The quality of these rugs, like I said, this is old school 101. The Rahimi piece right here. They don't make these anymore. This is the old school way of doing the rugs and everything, and it's sad. It's really sad. This is the art that's basically, it's leaving us. But while it's still here, I thought I'm going to show it out to you. So I hope this is something for those of you that are into the rugs, and I get asked about the dyes and everything, so I hope this may have been of help to you. So I'm just going to come back to you right now and say my final goodbyes. So there was a video about the different Tabriz rugs and the vegetable dyes versus the more modern dyes, and so I hope you enjoyed this video. As always, I'm going to be coming back to you with many more videos to come. In the meantime, I wish you and your family the very best. Feel free to subscribe to our channel, and if you like our videos, we appreciate it. Wishing you the best until we see each other again. Take care. Bye-bye.